I'm looking to also change my portrait because I see Snoot with his own Snoot.
Snoot actually... Okay, this is so weird because of that stupid show we just watched, but Snoot looks beautiful in his portrait. Like, I'm gonna bring this up on stream real quick. Like,
kind of looks like a L'Oreal advert, you know? Like,
right?
where he wafts his hair.
Look at that hair. He's so beautiful.
Where's yours, Rifkin?
I'm using mine. It's not very good looking.
Portrait.
Oh, the Snoot portrait. I'd have to actually go look at my collections tab. But hang on, let's get Solar in the lobby first. Still missing him.
I feel a little bit bad. I didn't grab the last BlizzCon package. I just completely forgot to get it. Is it still possible to get?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't really know.
Honestly, you weren't in it, Snoot, so it wasn't as good as the last one, you know?
Oh, Ben, you warmed my heart.
Such a sweetheart, dude.
I like how Solar's using his own as well. What's Zest's, actually? Is that like
that's Alarak, I think.
That's, it's Alarak.
That's actually really cool. I like that. But okay, guys.
Stuff right now in the game.
We'll talk about portraits later. Let's hop into the game. We've been waiting a while for this. So it's Parasite for game 1, Solar versus Zest elimination match. See you guys on the map. Welcome one, welcome all. It's game number 1 in the elimination match. This is kind of a big deal because somebody will be removed from the tournament. I'm, of course, Rifkin, casting with both Snoot and the Muslim. So we got an all-star lineup here today. But to introduce the players, in the top left, we have the blue Zerg player, Solar. And to the bottom right, the pink Protoss, Zest. And again, a little bit bump for our friends over at Ting. They're building up a brand new Discord server, guys. Ting.com/Discord if you want to go join it. And if you are a customer of Ting, you can actually do customer support through their Discord, which is pretty cool. I don't know many other companies like that have that for an offer, so be sure to check it out. Again, that's Ting.com/Discord.
Oh, he removed his Scythe tag, right?
Oh, yeah, since the last series.
No more free sponsorship. He heard it.
Ooh.
So, yeah. I suppose Zest is teamless right now? Or has he announced something new?
I haven't heard anything, honestly.
I want to say teamless because it's still fresh. Like him leaving Slice and all that, like that's still recent news.
Yeah. So we have a very strong free agent here. Going up against Solar, who has the TSG tag. We still didn't figure out what that is about.
You know what's interesting, actually, a lot of people don't know this. Like, Korean salaries are so wildly disproportionate from player to player. Like, some of these guys like Zest would probably be asking, like, minimum 2K a month type thing, right? Whereas you got other players who I would say are as good as Zest that are only asking for, like, a cut, like, maybe flights. Like, that's it. It's kind of interesting seeing whether or not players stay teamless for a long time. Because I always wonder if it's like, are they just asking too much? Or are they being picky? Like, what's their actual goal with the team?
Yeah, so like it can be about hype, right? It can be about image. It can be about a lot of things. I remember so back on EG, I remember it wasn't necessarily just about how good you are, but it was like about how good you could present yourself as well. And it was about a look that the team wanted that like salaries could be based on. But yeah, you're totally right. There's Korean players that I could be like, yeah, he's not really the best, but then I hear he's making a lot of money just from his team, like way more than Innovation or something, while being like significantly worse. I'm like, okay, I think Innovation should have learned that he could have got a better deal out of that. But like often the business world over there is very, very different.
I actually think that's a big part of why you see a lot of Koreans in the last year. They've all started taking English classes, or they've been working on their English more too, and I think that's a big part of it.
For sure. I mean, if you can get a team that will actually sell you better than you sell yourself, like that is absolutely worth it. And Korean teams right now, like one of the only big ones still around is Jin Air, right?
Yeah.
I have zero idea about their salaries.
Every player is so bad at selling themselves, let's be honest. Like, StarCraft guys are kind of a little antisocial at times, so it's funny you say that because like every team could sell most of these guys better than they sell themselves.
Well, that's why they get managers and stuff, right? And like agents and whatever. But you say that, but I remember, like, I think In Control was really good at selling himself, honestly, like, back in the EG days, and quite a few of the EG players, honestly, were a lot better than most at selling themselves. But again, that's why they ended up there. A lot about, like, the social aspect as well as the gaming aspect.
But it was also a big focus of the team, right? Some of the teams actually keep a rather low profile also. Like, a lot of teams are just about results. So it's,
I feel like Team Liquid's a little
lot.
bit like that. Like, they're really good at promo, don't get me wrong, but like, so much of the StarCraft's presence with Team Liquid is just like, their players are good and everybody freaking knows it, so they don't have to go out of their way promoting them, right?
Who knows, right?
So,
No, I'm not sucking up to you, Snoot, okay? You're retired. Get the fuck out.
I feel it might have been that way initially, like, so, yeah, if we talk about the old school StarCraft, because StarCraft was kind of the first Western esports, right, that like really made it to the a bit more
the scene has changed a lot. That's very important as well.
Like, so Alex Garfield of EG really realized it was a lot about the outreach, like the stream numbers, about those numbers. You can't always rely on your team winning, so you recruit a winner, but a lot of it was about like the reach and the reputation that your players had to like Monster and stuff, like the sponsors. Whereas, yeah, I think he was definitely one of the smarter people to initially come along and do that. By the way, did he lift up a drone?
It was backwards too, right? Like, that Phoenix was the wrong way. That was weird.
We're actually seeing double Stargate Phoenix. That's pretty cool.
I mean, this is pretty much what we see all the time, PvZ, right? Double Stargate, double Robo. It's like such a normal thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, we see double Stargate quite often, but yeah, I guess. I haven't followed PvC all that much closely. Like, I wasn't able to catch the Namshar series. That was yesterday, right?
Yeah, but in fairness,
yeah,
Namshar actually plays Zerg a little bit different than most people play Zerg. Like, he's so gung-ho on Hydras and Lurkers where other people are not.
Yeah, the missile style.
Yeah. They went, actually, those were great games, to be honest. Namshar and Harsum in the winners match went all the way to Game 5, as you would expect. There was a lot of back and forth. I really enjoyed it.
They usually have pretty close series, I feel. I remember quite a few close series between the two of them, at least.
Oh, guys, check it out. I sound so smart. It's double Robo. What a surprise.
Oh my God, I told you we had the expert Brutal's caster in Rifkin.
No, but I mean, the thing is for Zest, like I said in the previous games, right? Like, he'll play very standard, but like, Zest invented the double Archon Warp Prism, right? Or at least he popularized it. And like, he would just do it every game, and it didn't matter how he followed it up, because the opening just went well for him. And that's kind of where double Stargate Robo's led now for a lot of these guys, but I mean, the kind of tit for tat that I love about this is like, you get all these Phoenix, it's going to force Hydras. So you get units that can deal with Hydras, and it's just a great trade, and this is the type of StarCraft I love, because it is actually back and forth before it even starts being back and forth.
So, what like, to me, it looks like the Protoss is dealing a ton of damage here, like, more than he probably should be. Is it worth only putting spores in the mineral lines as opposed to, like, the connections to your bases and stuff here?
I suppose sometimes we see Cyril, for example, putting down one spore in the connection part, but in general, you can't really do too much about it, and you just need to put two in the mineral line, and that's it, basically.
So I just gotta highlight really quick before something dies. Zest has lost nothing so far this game, not even a probe, although that might change with these lings.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely playing clean this game thus far. Like, the Phoenix micro as well, he's not overcommitting. He is really hanging outside the spore range there with his groups, even picking up a ling here.
Yeah, and the rough part for this is Zerg is that you can't really get away, or you can't really last in a game like this unless you really know how to play a macro game. Like, this Phoenix opening from Protoss forces the Zerg into a certain kind of playstyle, and it's a very slow-paced type of playstyle. Like, the Zerg doesn't really have much to work with besides defense. And it's super important that you know how to maneuver the game from this position. You basically get forced into this 120 supply situation that we see right now, 4 base versus 3 base from Protoss. Of course, if you see something like a double Stargate, you could try to be cheesy with like a Baneling Bust or something, but most Protoss players are just going to defend that easily, scouting it with the Oracle, Phoenixes, for example.
Whoa, yeah, I don't see this build, or this response to this hardly ever. I mean, the Phoenix are actually really good at killing Locusts, because the Locusts are light units, so the Phoenix just tear through them.
Is this going to be like an all-in aggression from Solar here then? Like, is he going to just try and get up to 200 supply and just overwhelm his opponent?
It's going to be very aggressive, for sure.
If we're going to compare this to the games with Namshar, because that's kind of similar to what's happening here, the Locusts just basically fill the gap of having the extra 40 Hydras, right? So he's got Hydras and Locusts, and the beauty is Locusts are quote-unquote free units. So he'll just be able to keep a siege up on Zest that Zest will have to trade units out for. But because of his cost-efficient playstyle going into this, right, like, Zest has lost nothing. He can afford to lose a lot.
Oh, yeah, certainly. And I mean, if he...
Oh, not like this, though. Not like this, though.
Not like this.
So perfect until it wasn't.
Definitely. I mean, those are mistakes that cost you quite a bit, because keeping those Phoenix alive against this flock of Swarm Host, while they're not going to kill the Swarm Host just yet, they are... Oh, that was a nice catch on the Zerglings, actually. Oh, that was nice with a single Ling, though. Seeing that little blur there and running in there.
It's very cool how he changed it up from the PvT games that we saw with very few shield batteries. Now we have a lot of them.
Oh, this stasis trap here could be really good. Does he see it? Nope.
Wow, look at that.
Locust will die in a stasis trap, guys. Their health does run out. So, like, this was actually so sick out of Zest.
You know what would have been perfect on hindsight if he saw the little blur, landed one Locust only to activate it?
Oh, yeah, that would be so smart.
Yeah, you can manually land Locust, which was interesting because I didn't know that for the longest time. I always thought you had to have a target you could just, like, attack onto.
Oh no, I've played enough Zergs now, they start planting them all on my siege tanks individually and stuff, and I'm like, God damn it.
So Cyril did it at BlizzCon, and then everyone realized you could do it.
No.
I tell you what though, having these Phoenix kind of out of position there, like, I'm surprised they weren't a bit more aggressive, just poking, and just ready to catch the Locust before they land, because...
Agreed.
That was just losing, like, 4 cannons there.
Yeah, I suppose you kind of expect the Zerg to keep the Hydras and the Swarm Host together, but in this case, the Swarm Hosts were completely separated, so you could maybe even pick up a few of them.
Yeah, seeing that the army was over to the left. I like the Phoenix now, because now they're holding off, like, the counterattacks and stuff, I suppose, but, and even the Archon there, too.
Well, the cannon's gone, like everything gets into the mineral lines. Left side base under siege.
It's very open, and this army now is very hard to stop with what he has. Yes, he has Storms, which are great against Locusts, but using energy to kill the free units always feels kind of bad. And the Locusts, if they're achieving anything, it's just holding the army back, even taking out the Immortal here. So
yeah, would have loved to see a few more Archons in the mix just to deal with the low HP Locusts, for example. But this is looking pretty good.
For so long.
Oh, the Graviton beams are nice. The Phoenix, it's a massacre.
I think if he gets off a Storm here, that would be sick. But the Templar are lagging a little bit, but still, like, he's taking a decent fight, and he can just take another 4th base. Like, his army is looking very scary. Like, that's the one thing you need to consider when you play Swarm Host without Lurkers to fall back on, is that once the cooldown is up, his army from Protoss, like, if they defend it well, and they have a lot of Phoenixes to start...
It's getting wild, though. It's getting wild. Locust in the fray as well, dealing a lot of damage to the back line, but
getting
still marching.
Those Templars have a lot of energy. I think Zest maybe lost like 3 storms or something, but he's still pushing. He's just going in, man.
And rightly so. Like, he's just,
That
these
choke
storms
is going to work
really
out
good.
well.
He can force field the ramp as well. Yeah.
Oh, beauty, beauty.
Yeah, that's amazing, right?
I'm also always amazed by how good Immortals are in every situation, you know. It doesn't feel like there's any situation where Immortals are a bad unit to have. Like, even against pure light here, Hydra, Zergling, Immortals are always, like, one of the best things.
Nice.
And look,
as well.
Honestly, this was a really nice game by Zest. Like, the little Phoenix loss that he had on the right side of the map, that was, like, the one mistake that I felt he had. Besides that, it was, like, very good play by him.
It's so important he dived in, though, because Solar had a lot of tech that was time-based coming up behind it, right? Greater Spire just finished high, finish up. Like, if Zest pushed 30 seconds later, he might have actually had Broodlords to fight, right? Like, that's what's so scary about this. So pushing when he did, getting the damage he did, this was so time-dependent. This was so good for Zest.
I'm not sure if Zest has that many storms anymore. I don't think he has any, and that makes it a little bit trickier to push, but he does have the Immortal still, so...
And a lot of Zealots.
Dude, check how much gas he's got too. That could be a lot of high Archons, but GG.
Yeah, for sure. Good defense by Zest. I know a lot of players think that Swarmos are incredibly difficult to stop, but Zest with the huge defense on the 3rd base, the shield batteries, the Stasis Sword, the cannons, I think he had like 4 or 5 of them. He just showed how to control the game from start to finish and how to defend the first wave and just took it from there. Like, sure, he lost the 4th base, he didn't have the most amazing fight, and he still just had enough defense to just power through and actually just immediately win the game. Like, it's...
I think a lot of that comes down to tempo, though, right? Like, oh, sorry to cut you off, Rifkin, but like the first Locust wave being entirely wasted because they all landed on a stasis trap. It feels like you kind of need to get stuff going right from the get-go. Like, He then had to wait for the second locust wave to clear up all those cannons. Then he could start attacking like the fourth and the third simultaneously. So it felt like one of those stasis traps to stop all those locusts really cut his strategy dead, or at least like stopped it in its tracks for at least some time.
Yeah, like as you pointed out, the first wave is probably, well, the most important one.
I do want to highlight though, because I mean we're all fawning over Zest. He did that so well. Solar didn't play that badly, and I'm not trying to like play devil's advocate or anything. Like, I actually legit like the idea of what he was going for, mixing the Hydras with the Locusts, getting aggressive early on. And you guys are totally right. Like, if that stasis, he tried to trigger the stasis traps. He probably thought he got them all. He thought he was safe, and like, it was a snowball effect for sure. But it's not like Solar went into that badly or half-assed. Like, that was a good game out of both players, and that's why I freaking love this group.
I think the macro was really good. If you struggle with double Stargate Phoenix, for example, and you want to learn how to get into a proper macro setup against it and kind of just take it from there, I think the first minutes of this game is just a great treat to watch. Like, Solar was doing everything perfectly, and I'm sure if he executed this foremost strat a little bit differently, like maybe a bit different tactics, probably could have worked as well. Like, small details matter quite a lot, and that stasis trap was just insane. So,
well,
yeah, I still think he played very well, but just a few things that tipped it in Zest's favor.
With that being said, guys, let's hop into Kairos Junction for Game 2. All right, folks, it's game number 2 in this best of 5. Answering a quick question from Donut Monger in the chat says, how do we get replays for these games? We post them up in the subscriber-only channel on our Discord server, but we also post them to Patreon, so take your pick. I see you're already subbed. I would recommend just going to Discord and getting them through there. But spawning here to the top left side, we do have the Blue Zerg player Solar here in the elimination match. In the bottom right, going for a quick scout, we of course have the pink Protoss Zest.
Just talking about that game a little bit, this is to Snoot mainly. Do you go into playing against double Stargate Phoenix and just expect to take quite a bit of damage? Like,
yeah, big time, big time. Always, you always take damage from the Phoenixes like that.
But
so I
mean,
I love that you address Snoot as if I would answer that question.
I just want to know, like, what's the like? Are you meant to go up against that and sacrifice like making a lot of spores or a lot of extra queens, or are you? Because it feels very hard to not take damage from it. So, do you just like over drone against it instead to compensate, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
You just make so many drones, and there are some variations as well that have some adepts in it. So you got to be a little bit careful of those types of attacks.
Well, is there anything like let's say the start of the game happens, right, and you can absolutely pinpoint that your opponent's definitely going to do that, which you can't necessarily do it. But let's say you did. You knew he was definitely going to go for two Stargate Phoenix. What would be the absolute blindest way to get ahead against it?
I think you see probably a lot of Ling Bane play at that stage. Maybe a quick Evo Chamber plus one melee. In general, just very long-term play. Like, of course, you could try something like a cheeky Ling Bane plus one melee, or even a Baneling bust, something cheesy like that. But in general, it's just a lot of drones and long-term play. Lots of hatcheries, lots of creep, lots of expanding.
Yeah, more often than not, I think it's safe to say we see people over drone. I love the aggression to cancel a third, right? You know you're going to take damage, but you trade out for it. But I think the beauty in over droning is like Phoenixes are limited by their energy. They are going to do a limited amount of damage, no matter how it goes, right? So I love the logic of over droning, just trying to outplay that. But as Snoot also mentioned, man, when they mix in like 2 adepts, shit hits the fan.
Oh, this is a really fast adept, but a perfect queen timing. Also, one thing worth noting, he actually prioritized making the queen first on his natural, then in his main, probably just for a moment like this. Also, I guess to get the queen. Oh,
that's so annoying.
That is super annoying, but little things like that can definitely differentiate good Zergs from really good Zergs.
Yeah, and usually the first adept is very rarely a problem. You don't really see canceling the creep tumor very often. It's always the 2 adepts, that's when the trouble begins.
Zest is handling this really well, by the way. Like,
If he wanted to be more aggressive, he could even send those shades into the natural mineral line, but he chooses not to. And I think it's just a safe way to play, but he could have been even more aggressive. Like, there's so much room for potential damage with the double adept opening.
He's already getting so much damage done, though, and I mean, no real main damage done, so those guys just regenerate and go back home now. So I think he did about as much as he wanted to with that, right? Like, he's got a little bit of a worker lead here. Yeah. Didn't lose them.
Good scouting also. He didn't check the third base, but I guess based on what he saw, he's not expecting something crazy like a roach timing, for example. And he has the Oracle anyway, the safest opening there is for Protoss. Definitely, if you're trying to learn Protoss playing PvC, for example, I can recommend just, for the most part, just try playing Stargate every game. It gives you so much vision, so many options, great defense. It's basically the go-to build for most Protoss players in PvC these days.
And Oracle is no longer gimped.
That is true.
That was the shortest patch change in history, I do believe.
Yeah, I think so. Like, that was really fast.
For those unaware, they changed the attack rate of the beam. They didn't like it. Huge player feedback. Blizzard has changed it back, so pretend that change never even happened. It lasted like less than a week.
I love how it was worded too. It's like, yeah, we've fixed the bug with like beams and oracles. So it's like, you what? Like, oracles have been bugged for 3 years, dealing way more damage than they should have been. And it's like, oh yeah, actually no, we're going to revert that, but we will look into the oracle again soon.
You see that? Kinda cute. I always remember back to the original announcement video, if you guys remember this, where it's like, this unit will never deal damage, and it's supposed to just like entomb the minerals and stuff.
Workers, I remember this. No workers will ever be harmed by an oracle or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Couldn't have been more wrong.
So when Demuslim says something like that, that's like it's been bugged for 3 years. No, it's been bugged since they fucking made it.
That's so amazing. No workers will ever be. Good times.
Just Protoss things, man. You fix a unit and then like there's enough outrage, then you unfix it again. Oh, by the way, I always love this about Protoss infrastructure, by the way. Like, as soon as they learned to do this, where they make like the Nexus and then a couple of pylons to make a nice little choke against Zerglings, it helped Protoss so much.
Oh yeah, this is a very good detail. Protoss wants to do the double Archon attack, but you need to protect the Archons while they morph.
Oh my god, he just morphed them like that? Oh, I guess the Oracles are supporting, but... Actually, nice defense by Zest to get that working like that.
You know what's so key, though? If that first creep tumor wasn't picked off, he would have had the creep to move up and kill those with the queens.
That's true. That's true.
Now, roaches are in play, and these are not just defensive roaches only. This is actually going to be a massive roach attack, and I don't think Zest necessarily has picked up on this just yet.
I really like this game compared to the last one for Solar. Like, the double Stargate... oh, whoa.
Yeah, he has a great roach count.
Oh, all in against all in?
Yeah, pretty much. And this is going to be great for Solar, I think. Because there are not that many force fields. Not many force fields to work with, but this is a bit awkward, it says. Like, you go in here and you see all these roaches and you're like, okay. I guess I need to back off by now. And at this point, as says, I probably would just, chrono that Immortal, just get ready for a huge roach attack. I'm not sure if he has a second robo. Nope. So this is going to be very rough. Like, Immortals are the #1 unit to defend with here, but he's only got 1 robo, so he needs to buy time yet again.
I think I'd be one of those people that tried to get out like a Void Ray or something as well, just utilizing my production facilities. But I guess he doesn't know how serious it is, but...
It takes so long.
Nice, good force fields. 4 sentries just warped in. That was a big deal. No Ravagers are made, so you can't break those force fields.
Yep, and that emergency Immortal pops at the perfect moment.
How do we feel about these engagements that Solar's trying to take so far? I feel it's kind of like... Well, he's actually droning up behind this too, so has he just kind of realized it's not going to work out just yet?
I think the time he lost to those force fields was a big enough deal.
He's going to go Swarm Host, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
Like, Swarm Hosts are a super duper cheap unit for how good they are and how, like, they don't die, right? Like, if you use Swarm Host correctly, that's a unit that will be on the field till the end of the game, so I wouldn't be surprised if he just saves up money right now and just goes mass Swarm Host to 200 supply.
Yeah, especially when you see this many sentries, you know that there probably isn't going to be Storm and a lot of Archons for some time, so I think
we missed this.
Response.
Nice Stasis Trap actually caught Solar's attack to the natural while this went on too.
This is perfect. By the way, I think Zest is clued into what's happening here, knowing that his opponent isn't going to be making units. And look, Solar immediately, he's like, oh my god, I have to make units now. 12 Roaches, 6 Ravagers on the way. So this is perfect by Zest.
Yeah, he doesn't even have to commit. He can just use the force fields to his advantage and then go back home if he likes. He doesn't have to end the game here by any means.
Nice pickup. Ooh, that was beautiful.
Yeah. If only he had an observer, but he can't clear any of this creep because he had to make so many immortals, right? But that's definitely something he wants if he wants to play a longer game here.
Oh, that poor immortal caught out in the open, but
Yeah.
a great corrosive biles too, actually. And now Zest comes in with the warp prism too, still not unloading those units out of
The
it.
thing about this army is that it's only got 3 immortals, so it's not that great at picking things off.
Ooh,
Still a very beefy one, regardless.
nice counterattack by Solar as well in the natural here. So despite all this chaos in the middle of the map, he's still able to get a counterattack going.
I wish that
Killing
Zest would keep making immortals. That would be great on the defense, and I think it's really not that bad to have like a 4th or 5th immortal in this type of situation.
It's a shame there's no burrow either. Whack-a-mole would do so much damage here.
Oh, these force... Okay, they are really nice.
That's good to see.
Oh, and reapplying the force fields as well after Solar gets rid of them with the corrosive biles. That was
nice.
really clean, yeah.
That's a lot
Solar's
of
just
sentries though. That's
reinforced.
8 sentries. That's such a fragile, like large portion of his army.
Yeah, but then again, when you get more force fields, it's not that bad anymore.
True.
So, like Roaches, they have to kind of get in on top of this army, which these force fields just mean that they can't anymore. So, definitely a good unit to have.
We'll keep an eye out on this counterattack. It might slip by again.
Oh, nice.
Whoa!
Yeah,
Not perfect, but
it's okay. More pressure on the 4th base here. Zest just playing this very slow and very controlled, letting those sentries build up energy. Is this Solar going for a bit of a Bly-esque Spire? Kind of a comeback mechanic?
Definitely is. By the way, Zest's worker count is getting quite low with all these counterattacks happening. Like 43 workers at this point in time, 42.
I kind of feel like having a Baneling less in this type of situation might have been helpful because there's a lot of units with there's a lot of Zealots that have charge, so Ravager Ling Bane can always be a good type of defense. It's very heavy on the Roaches, but then again, Zest is still not making additional immortals for this army, so it's a little bit weird, right?
For sure.
This engagement.
Solar's done an incredible job, by the way, of getting back and up to 200 supply and having like a superior economy. Now he can move out onto the map. Like without those chokes and those ramps, he's feeling way more free.
the catch is though, it's 200 supply of Roaches and Ravagers. Like this is such a very limited type of army.
You're right, but the Protoss army isn't exactly stacked. What do
True.
we have? We have 3 Immortals, 3 Archons, then we have 11 Sentries, 24 Zealots. I mean, that is...
I want
that
Zest to
isn't
make
a
like
strong
one
army
Void
either.
Ray. I want him to make one Void Ray. Just win. Like,
Oh,
I
that
just
is...
want to comment on what Solar is doing right now. Like, it's so good. He's maxed out, so he wants to free up supply, and he's adding in a Baneling Nest, which is very supply efficient. Like,
Oh,
he's
look,
Templar.
he's getting...
yeah.
big picks.
Wow.
Forcing the Archons is huge. This is a nice trade for the Roaches. They'll even kill one.
Yeah, that was really nice. He's making Lings behind us now, taking up to Hive, so...
Oh, those
this
the
could be a
Archons
game
suck.
where he's going for Brood Lords.
Wait, does he have a War
they're
Prism?
stuck now.
Okay,
Yeah,
he
he
does.
needs to War Prism to get it out. This is why I always like having at least one Immortal in the natural, because you can block it. You can block a run buys like that very easily and still have a lot of firepower.
Oh, he didn't realize he was full.
Yeah.
That
Good
War
force
Prism
fields.
accidentally being at the natural, though, defends that counterattack pretty nicely. Or it can if he picks up the... Oof.
Well, in fairness, he was landing some pretty good force fields to the north. For that lack of attention, I think it was worth it.
Possibly. I always feel my heart, like, if I was a Protoss player, I'd never want to lose the unit named the Immortal. Just never mind how powerful it is, it just feels wrong.
That's fair. By the way,
revelation.
Banelings are finally coming out, and we're moving
Yeah.
towards the Greater Spire.
I think this is great. Zest probably should start catching on to this sometime soon and transition into a fleet beacon. Oh, Zest!
Oh, those Crucifiles!
I feel like that should have been worse, but it turns out okay-ish for Zest.
I felt like 3 centuries of that too. Wasn't too bad.
Yeah. This
Not the
Oracle-
most valuable unit at this point in time, and as Banelings join the fray and Brood Lords hopefully
Oh.
soon too.
Yeah,
Those
I
are
feel
some
like
brave High Templar.
that type of not looking at your army would be far worse if it was Banelings instead of Ravagers.
Oh, those Biles, mate, they are taking out quite a few units, but Zest's army's so strong. Like, this is a proper muscle army here. Oh!
God, the amount of damage he's doing with these storms is insane.
Yeah,
It's not
Yeah,
getting a
by
lot
the way,
of kills,
look at Zest
but
Bank. This is truly a Zest move here. He was up to 2k minerals there.
I
Or
think
very
it's going
close.
to be nearly impossible for Solar to actually engage this army. Not necessarily because of the Templar, but because of the insane amounts of force fields Look at this. He can section off this ramp forever. Even the southern side can be completely sealed off.
Okay, so Broodlords are in the making now. Solar's mineral count is still pretty damn low. Still doing these counterattacks, by the way.
Yeah.
It's definitely a messy game. And Zest, he's still got 1,500 minerals and 500 gas to spend here, so he can actually go up to 200 supply here if he just macros a little bit better.
Yeah,
Guys,
he has a very strong army, but he's gonna face Broodlords now. So
When
we'll see
did
how that-
Zest make 49 Zealots to lose? I just don't remember them being in play.
Well,
I mean,
for you, right?
his army was like pure Zealots for a while with sentries and like 3 Archons and 3 Immortals, but the counterattacks, honestly, like, I think it's those counterattacks that have done it.
Yeah, the Warpins defensively, yeah. That's a lot of High Templar.
By the way, I always love this too, how people, like, will make a unit out of a production facility that they had no intention of using, at least not for that unit, and just doing anything that they can. Scrambling out any edge, so getting that Void Ray for some anti-air is better than nothing.
He wants Tempest though, and that's where these that fleet beacon is going to come into play. Now, walking around this, maybe Zest is going to try and force a base trade. Like, hey, Solar, you got to come back with your slow-moving Broodlord army.
Yeah, he sees that there probably aren't going to be enough Corruptors. And if Corruptors are coming on the way, maybe he could intercept a few of them.
Zest has no upgrades. I didn't even realize this. He doesn't even have +1. These Zealots are actually not that good.
You say not that good, but it's still got Charge Rifkin. They're still pretty good in my eyes.
That's true. That's true. So Bailey's catching up with the Templar on the tail end.
But is the Void Ray dealing damage to these Broodlords on the other side of the map? Oh, there are Corruptors to meet it, so the Void Ray does end up falling, but 2 Tempests at a time now, marching up to the main base, 19 drones dead. Yeah, it's already getting crazy.
And he can recall if he needs to.
It takes so long for Broodlords to actually kill buildings. It's one of their major weaknesses. Like, they can't really press very hard on their own. They need so much time to actually get anything done.
This is one of those situations, by the way, where, like, if Broodlords have a major weakness, it is the fact that they're slow. So upon those Broodlords being at his 3rd base, Zest just went, okay, I can't kill them right now. I'm just going to go and attack you. Like, I'm going to utilize that one weakness that they have. And honestly, it's paid off in dividends.
Yeah, and he's got the recall ready, so at any point he can just move out of this main. And
he's trying to clump up so he maximizes how much gets recalled. It's a much smaller area now for those who don't know. That's why, yeah, some of these get left behind. Oh wait, the base! Oh, they're trying to recall it to the base that died! Completely denied! And that puts recall on cooldown!
Oh, now he's trapped, boys. Now he's trapped.
He could fight this! This is like 5 Broodlords unprotected! What was Solar thinking bringing these up here?
Oh, he doesn't have Blink either. This is gonna be super awkward, but the storms alone are just killing us.
That's where you, like, hype yourself up, right? You're like, yeah, I'm gonna do it! I'm gonna do it, man! My 5 Broodlords! Then it's like, oh dear, that's a lot of Protoss, man.
Oh, he's got so many Ravagers at that ramp. I mean, force fields, he needs to force it. He has to buy time or he'll lose everything. He's waiting on that recall to come off a cooldown. It's about halfway done.
Oh, the Tempests are here too from the other side, right? Those big blobs in the middle. Oh, wait, Void Rays? Okay, that's kind of cool.
Hey, bring him in.
Solar knows that he has all that time until recall is available again, right?
Oh,
it's still got 30 seconds cooldown, so Solar has all this time, but he doesn't have the units or the positional advantage to actually get anything done. Like, it's super, super awkward.
This is insane.
Are trying to up, but
that's
I can't.
By the way, resources lost tab at the end of the game, 27k for Solar and 16k for Zest. So Zest just traded very, very well that game. Like, very, very stocky up.
There's also a very low worker kill count game, all things considered. Both of them, 35 drones and 33 probes died. Like, that game was a lot less about the workers and so much more about the army, which you don't see too often, I feel.
And by the way, it's like, I know Zest from PVTs, right? Like, he sticks with the same thing again and again. This time we saw him with 2 very different openings, like the double Stargate into the single Stargate kind of thing with the Warp Prism and 2 Archons and stuff. And I know that those are both kind of like textbook Protoss openings, but it's nice to see him divvy it up a little bit because he's definitely getting the better of Solar in this series so far. Whether that's just strategically mixing it up or the fact that he's just doing it very well, I think both of them come into play here.
I played Zest in the past, and he had some points where he would do the same build over and over and over again, like with no variety whatsoever. But from what we've seen in this series and just lately in general, like he's really expanding his strategies a lot as a player. Because before it was very easy to exploit. You could just do something like a counter to the double Stargate Phoenix, for example, something like a huge Baneling bust, maybe a Hydralisk all in, things like that. But now it's he's looking scary, man.
So if I could criticize Solar just a little bit, that game, it really felt like this Roach counterattack was. So when Zest charged into him while doing kind of like a third base all in with not saturating it, it really felt like there was more time there for Solar to really get a huge Roach clump together and kill him, because there was like one Immortal out, right?
Yeah.
I felt like he didn't really go gung-ho on just one point. He probably tried to like separate it a bit, be a bit too fancy almost. Maybe he thought he was more ahead than he was. I really felt he gave away his edge there in that game, if he had an edge there.
All right, guys, we got Cerulean Fall coming up. It is 2-0 if you guys are just tuning in. It looks like Ting's Jeff has woken up. If you guys have any questions about Ting, the major sponsor of said tournament, he's the guy to ask. But Jeff, I hope I haven't been given the wrong URL all day. I've been talking about Discord a little bit. It's ting.com/Discord, right? If I've been doing this wrong, I feel a little bit of egg on my face. But yeah, if you guys have questions about Ting, Jeff does work for Ting, and he's literally paid to be here, not just to watch StarCraft, which is a sweet job, but also to take your questions. And if you got any curiosities about Ting, if you want to apply a code, things like that, he's your guy to talk to. So look for him in the chat. But we got to hop into Cerulean Fall, game number 3, and it's the Elimination Series. So this is like very literally Solar's last life. Let's see if he recovers. All right, folks, like we said, this is the Ting Open, and you should definitely check out bttv.ting.com if you want to check out Ting. It's a U.S. mobile phone service. You guys know the deal. If you're paying more than $25 a month, it's worth checking out. Now, it is still the elimination match. It's still Rifkin to Muslim and Snoot, and this guy is on his last life. If you're a Zerg fan out there, we only have one Zerg in the round of 8, so you got to cheer hard for this guy. Give it up for the blue Zerg, Solar. And his opponent getting downright dirty. Top right, we have the red Protoss Zest. There's no... I'm hoping this is just wall. Okay. And not a cannon rush. Thank God. All right. The Muslim, camera's going on you. I got to bring it back real quick.
I actually really thought it was going to be a cannon rush when like 2 probes were moving out onto the map there. But yeah, we do see that Zest went for a gateway on the low ground. Now, I don't see this that often, the way that he's playing this game, but there's obviously big advantages, like not having an expo in the natural there for your opponent, having it on the third instead. It means that adepts can deal with the drones transferring and just in general make things a lot more annoying for your opponent.
And the combination that he did here, like the probe he sent out super early, was probably exclusively just to block the natural so that Solar was forced into taking the third base. And when the gateway is at the front like this, the rush distance to the third base becomes so much shorter for the adept. So he's probably going to go into some sort of cyber into double adept type of pressure like we saw in the previous game, because it did very well. But now I think it's going to be even more powerful because of the hatchery block in the natural of Solar.
For sure. So if you're a Zerg, like I know that you are a Zerg, what kind of mindset do you have when your opponent does this? Do you automatically start thinking, it's going to be some adept kind of stuff, it's going to be this rather than that, or what do you rule out?
No, I think it could be anything, of course, but most of the time it's just double adept into a Stargate, just very typical play, but you never know with Protoss. The only thing that you can kind of conclude from this type of opening is that you need to pay so much more attention to the opening that you're going to use yourself. Like a lot of the time you need to get those extra Zerglings out, deal with the double adepts. They can shade in a very annoying fashion. They can keep blocking your natural somehow. It's just makes everything more complicated for Zerg.
Okay, I got the camera. Thanks for that.
The defense itself just becomes way more technical. You need to be way more on point. It's kind of like playing against a 3x Reaper compared to playing against a 1x Reaper. The 3x Reaper one just demands so much more attention, focus, micro, positioning, etc.
By the way, Rifkin, I was doing such a good job observing.
I believe it, dude. Thank you so much for covering. 10 out of 10. I mean, you had to observe pretty much that whole day, that one day, right? So.
No, I just put the camera on you, man.
Oh, okay. Well, good thing I didn't go AFK and thought you were doing it. I still just observed because I'm habit. But anyways, thank you to Muslim.
So just to catch you up a bit, Rifkin, Zest went for like a wall off on the natural, then made his natural. This is the first bit of adept damage he's going to get done here, if any at all. Honestly, Solar's been handling it pretty well this far. Yeah. He did drone his third base, which is actually his natural.
Like, that seems very easy, but his queen positioning, you can see how they are at the front like this. Then he has the Zerglings in backup at home. This is actually very, very important. If those queens are any further back, I think this defense becomes way more difficult for Solar.
That probe, the probe that's running into the enemy base, right? Do you think that's just a missed rally?
Yes.
100%.
I was like, what purpose is this probe being out on the map right now? And then I just saw he's actually running straight to the natural.
Yeah.
Or it's as simple as he's gone rogue.
It's probably just supposed to secure the third base, right?
I always wonder, like, if you're 2-0 up in a match, do you, like, just give away an SCV or something like that, or a probe, you know, just like those chess players, they're like, yeah, I'll start, like, a unit down kind of thing,
here's
just for
8
extra
free
moral
moves.
victory. But I remember, when I used to be, like, kind of decent, I used to think about those kind of things just for the moral edge, you know, but then I realized my opponents just think I'm making a mistake and get a bit stronger as a result, which definitely doesn't go in your favor.
That's when he dropped the scan and the mana mule.
Yeah, that's why the mana mule actually serves every purpose possible. You know, like then they actually know that you're like kind of digging on them a little bit. You know.
Yeah.
I feel like as much as I would love that to be a thing, because that's so much personality. Whoa, wait, triple Stargate, holy shit. Zest is like the least cocky guy I've ever talked to in StarCraft. Like, so I don't know that you would be the one to pull stuff like that off. But
you don't
triple
think Zest is
Stargate.
cocky?
I really don't think he is, no. Like, I've talked to him through broken translators in English. I really don't get a cocky vibe from him. At least, especially not with the way he plays. But that's just me. Maybe I'm totally wrong. Either way, I want to talk a lot about this, though. This is so abnormally weird. A triple Stargate build and weapons going into it off of 2 bases.
For a not cocky player, Rifkin, this is extremely cocky, I feel, doing this kind of unorthodox opening, you know?
I thought this was completely unsustainable. 3 Stargates like this.
Yeah, but with Zest macro, you can do this, man. When you stack up minerals and resources and stuff, this is all like his whole career has been coming up to this moment, you know.
Dude, I thought I saw yesterday Hearthstone did like a 2-base carrier build versus Namshar, and it worked because Namshar didn't scout. So Hearthstone had 10 carriers before Namshar scouted it. My fear of bringing this up isn't just that goofy game from yesterday, but this is something that is so powerfully strong that if this doesn't get scouted by Solar, he's just going to be totally bamboozled by this. Like, normally you can just overdrone, or like we talked about earlier, get Lings and be aggressive. But in this case, like, you can't even go Spire into this. This is like the worst thing you could do.
Okay, so he is going Spire into this. Now, actually, is Spire the worst thing? Like, how do you realistically deal with this? Because, I mean, you're not going to be able to kill your opponent. Scouting your opponent's very difficult because you know he will have air control. Like, if you actually do kind of scout... In fact, what is that?
The painful part about the Spire is that everything you make with the Spire is so expensive. So if these Phoenixes do a lot of damage, you simply cannot afford the amount of Corruptors you need to take down.
And he scouts a Spire here, too.
This is 9 Phoenix! 6 minutes and +1. This is ridiculous.
And look at this. Any roaches... This always feels bad to me. Like, when I'm a Terran, you try to be as cost-efficient as possible, but these roaches just marching out to their death, but... Losing roaches is, I guess, better than losing drones in a way, although I say that now and this happens.
That's where you've got more Phoenix, so more energy than normal, which means more pickups. I talked about this earlier. Your damage is limited, sure, but now you've got more limitations to work with.
I really like this for Zest, honestly. This is a lot of damage being done. The natural can kind of be breached here, I suppose.
Yeah,
this is good by Solar. Oh, nice force field.
That's so painful. Yeah, these oracles are just going to clean up everything that's left. At least if they decided to chase. Like, those oracles just keeping everything safe at home.
By the way, this is where that +1 is so important. It's not for killing the roaches any faster or the queens. It's for specifically being able to dogfight those Corruptors, because Corruptors have naturally some of the highest armor in the game. That +1 weapons helps combat this. He just killed a ton of Overlords, 6 Overlords, 600 minerals gone.
Units in the main,
though. To break in. I don't think it's going to do all that much, but it's a nice beginning, I guess.
Oh, definitely. I mean, this is going to be lack of mining as well. Like, this probe count's probably going to get up to 12 or so.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, a lot of damage.
Look at Zest's minerals. You could probably add in a few plays with this, just to make that clear. Like, this defense could have been a little bit more smooth. So.
You know when I pointed it out that Zest's minerals, like his macro, is easily the worst part about his play, but that just shows that he is as good as he is with the amount of prize money that he's won, but he is like the only player that I know that very often goes up to like 2k minerals while doing a 2-base all-in and stuff.
16 Phoenix.
I mean, that's kind of how Zest is. Like, his macro isn't perfect by any means, but he just manages to win with brute force and
So very
creating
often you can
strats,
look
I
at
guess.
players and it can be like, oh yeah, that player's kind of sloppy, right? But to be as good as they are, they obviously do so many other things really, really well. So with Zest macro going as high as it does very,
Oh.
very frequently, he must be doing a lot of other things really, really well to compensate.
Yeah,
I
the thing
really
about
like the
Protoss macro-
Carapace upgrade, so I just want to throw that out there. This is going to super shut down this Phoenix.
But he's still going mass Phoenix with this.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
still
it's-
3 at a time.
it's
Yeah,
a
but,
sure
like-
way to shut down the economy for sure.
The thing is, like,
Because there
these
are no
Corruptors are going to take no damage.
Yeah, but the Phoenixes are faster, and as long as Zest can find some sort of edge by, I don't know, like dodging, sidestepping. I don't like this by any means. Like, I don't think this is all that great. But
I think he's going to win, isn't he? Isn't he going to win against the Corruptors?
okay, I like it. I like it. I like it a lot.
19 to 13. Yeah, maybe just it's that third Stargate that throws all this off. Like, what Solar's doing would work against 2 Stargates without question.
Yeah, that's the thing about this fire. Like, it's just too expensive. It's more of a 4-base thing.
By the way,
I suppose initially you just want to get that infestation pit, mass queen.
There's one really big thing, by the way.
Or
Zest is kind of like moving his Phoenix to focus one Corruptor at a time. And when Solar has one Corruptor on the far left and such, which can be focused, he's not pulling it back into the pack. So Zest was actually doing little things there to micro that fight better than other Protoss probably would. By the way, there's no fleet beacon on the way. So like the upgrades won't continue for Zest. And as this +1 Carapace finishes, now those fights will go quite a bit differently. Like that was the best it was ever going to get for Zest in these air battles.
3 armor
Yeah.
versus 6 damage.
Mass
Normally-
Stalkers now.
I think normally, if you already invested into triple Stargate, you probably would see a fleet beacon into carriers most of the time. But I don't know. I'm not sure why he didn't go for it. I feel like it would have worked very well in this scenario also.
Yeah, or even
he's
Anion Pulse
getting a lot of
Crystals.
corruptors. Yeah. Phoenix range. Just getting, just focusing on the air. I think.
Dude, I love how Phoenix fly like that.
Yeah, that looked like a
Yeah.
serpent, like, coming in at the south side.
And it's quite nice as well. Like they are faster than like if he had Phoenix range right here, this would be so much harder to deal with because you can't really chase them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think this kind of gives it away that he's not really focusing on the air. So I think at this point, if Solar reads into it correctly, he knows that this is going to be a ground switch.
And I mean, Solar's not holding down the Corrupt key anymore either, so I think he has read it correctly. Although this could get a bit dicey here.
If
No
Phoenix
blink
range
yet.
is out, he would never make a move like this. Solar, that is. It's a very bold move to send your Corruptors out like this against Phoenix range, but he knows.
How often do you see this kind of army composition? The Phoenix,
Never.
Hawk,
Not like
Sentry,
this.
Like without the Phoenix, it's kind of like a Lilvo composition back from like 2014 or something. But the Phoenix as well, like yeah, it's absolutely bonkers play. Also, did he go for +1 attack into plus armor? Zest is doing. I find that also a bit weird, rather than just going
Yeah.
straight up attack. But
Yeah, because he didn't get the archives, so he's just making the upgrades available to him. That's a little bit of a macro quirk, I guess.
well, I mean, he does have blink now. Like it has finished, so like that upgrade is it absolutely could have been +2 instead.
Yeah, I mean, the way that Zest is transitioning out of this, it's not a long-term play by any means. Like, he's making Stalkers, he's not making Colossus to fight Lurkers, he's not making anything that can fight, say, Broodlords and Corruptors that would be carriers, Tempest, for example.
He's just going, mate.
Raw attack,
Yo,
he's just-
half of Solar's army can't fight if the Phoenix aren't here, which is kind of crazy.
These Corruptors are gonna snipe the prison, though.
Why not?
They
What else are
came
they
in
gonna do?
handy, man. It was only 40 supply to snipe a Prism. I think it was worth it.
That's the most dead Prism I've ever seen.
Oh, these are really good force fields too, by the way. And like with the Blink Micro too.
Yeah.
I'm a bit sad that the sentries were all at the front there. But
Something kind of cool, by the way, I suppose. Zest is actually targeting down the Hydras. Those Corruptors flew over them, and not a single shot went on them.
This is the thing, like, Stalkers aren't that great against Hydras without the Sentry Guardian Shield to support. He doesn't have any left. Oh, well, good concave by Zest. Maybe.
and good Blink Micro too. Also trying to bring the Phoenix over somewhere, maybe to kill Overlords and stuff while this is going on. I don't know.
It's
But-
a bit confusing. Well, of course, they have to run from the Corruptors. That's the reason.
Oh,
It was a cute move. I don't know if recall was necessary, but it's peace of mind, I guess.
but
feel
Solar
like this
survives. That's the big deal here because this
Yeah,
is an
getting
all-in
very
army.
awkward. This is getting so awkward for Zest. Like, he wanted to
Whoa.
win the game right now, but now he's gonna face Lurkers,
Wait,
and that's
he's got +2 armor, not +2 weapons?
Very unusual. Very unusual. I mean, maybe he's like, okay, Hydras attack faster than Stalkers, so I'll go for the armor as opposed to anything else. But still, this, I think Solar's done it now. Like he has survived for sure.
Yeah.
By the way, other side of the map, we have Corrosive Bile going ham too.
Well,
New caustic spray.
Yeah, caustic
spray. That's the one. Yeah.
I mean, this is just a.
It's all just Zerg units puking, isn't it?
This is terrible for Zest.
I mean, you know what? This is Zest up 2-0. Honestly, anything he does in this game is kind of a write-off, though. Like, he's got so much to fall back on.
I think just going straight into carriers, I still think it's very good, but maybe Solar is known for being very strong against it or something.
Zest is the only guy I know, by the way, that while losing 3 Nexuses, he goes up to like 1,700 minerals, like not warping in any sort.
Yeah. Stalker's not that great against Lurkers. I don't think this is going anywhere, fortunately.
My favorite story of this game is the Muslims' obsession about Zest macro, to be honest.
I mean, it's a very valid point. I mean,
I just remember back in the days, you know, there's one game of Zest against Maru. By the way, this is a really good sandwich by Zest. Really good
Blink
sandwich.
micro. He's gonna pick up the lurkers, not burrow them. I love this.
Wow, is he gonna win anyway? That would be so sick.
He's down supply by such a hard
kill. Those are lurkers, dude. Those are lurkers. They are freaking good, dude.
Lurkers and drones. Let's see.
Although, if he blinks on them,
the blink micro, he's been dancing around these blades. You know what? I realize solar supply is actually not that good because so much of it's in corruptors.
Zest is one of the coolest players to watch.
Look at Solar's only got 7 Hydras. This is insane. No way.
Like, you have this weird macro. Zest doesn't have any bases. He has 1 Nexus and he's winning the game.
Wait, Solar's gonna lose all his over. Why are they here? What the?
Wait, he doesn't have a Nexus.
Well,
I just saw all his probes sending. Oh, look at the probes! They're coming.
Pro Korean star. These are like the top players in Korea, guys, and this is happening. Drones are being pulled too. You'll fall back to your probes, dude.
Probes versus drones. Let's go. Let's go.
Mate, he actually has 67 probes coming here. This is
actually huge. Against 7 Hydras, Solar's
This is why he went to +2 armor for the probes, obviously.
Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out.
Dude, it makes sense.
Was getting captured your plan all along?
Is this when the corruptors are trying to base race with the caustic spray?
He surrounds the Hydras. The probes are making a citizen's arrest. This is how this game ends. 1 lurker. Wait. Is there any detection left? There's like a lurker out, but you can just walk around it, I guess. What? This base trade is unreal.
What's the detection? There is no detection left. Did you get it?
GG. What? How did Zest still win this game? What the? Yo, I told you, we were getting weird games in the round of 16, and Zest lives up to it. Solar is sadly eliminated from the tournament with that game, but Zest, in the most unorthodox way, that's the word I'm going to go with here, in the most unorthodox way, wins that game by pulling 67 probes and losing all of his Nexus. I want you guys to think about that sentence for a moment, because that is crazy.
That +2 armor, man, it came in frickin' handy, dude. It was all.
It did. I'm so mad that it did too. Oh my fuck.
Do you know what's actually really weird though? Like Solar, one of the best Zergs in the world, went out 0-3 to Bunny and 0-3 to Zest as well. So definitely not the showing that I thought that Solar would give today. Because yeah, he is a really fantastic player. But man, Zest, that big flank that he had at the end, that sandwich of the Stalkers, like I didn't think it was going to work honestly, but very good Blink Stalker micro by him.
And that was on a limited timer as well. Like the Oracle Revelation was slowly running out. He had to kill those lurkers right there.
Well, he actually had an observer over it, so that wasn't such a problem.
Already.
But the Muslims point I want to bring up, because yeah, he wasn't just blinking randomly and panically. Like I was watching that and noticing like he was seeing the attack coming. Like the lurker spikes have like a 1-second delay, right? He saw those and he was actually very precisely blinking. And for me, that's what blew me away about that attack. Like that was so cool. Oh, I love StarCraft.
If only that 1 lurker could have completed, right? You would have corruptors that would shut down, well, just a lurker in the spore, you know?
I'm going to be critical of Solar again, though, because he was, very often, I think he got overzealous there, because I think he was fighting outside the lurker range, right? Like the Hydras were marching further on each side of the sandwich, thinking that it would actually clean it up with just the Hydras. But if he moved in a little bit with his Hydras back on the lurkers, because he wasn't in danger of losing that game. The only danger he had was like overextending, but that's kind of what he did on either side of that. And that was Zest's 1 chance to win, but he absolutely took it and made it look really damn good. So I got to give Zest the credit there. And Solar, yeah, just a few overextensions here and there, maybe not like not super duper perfect play, but Zest, he made things work. And that's why he is such a legendary Protoss player. He knows how to kill people.
So what's really important about this, by the way, is that is the last Zerg that could have possibly been in the round of 8. So Namshar is the only Zerg player in the round of 8 for this tournament, which is unheard of to have such a low Zerg representation, but kind of cool at the same time. So I don't know. But for those who are asking about more games, yes, more games are coming up.